Today's episode of the Just Keep Swimming podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is an online audiobook and podcast service offering over 10,000 books and the ability to listen to your favorite podcasts, including the Just Keep Swimming podcast. I personally use Audible all the time and suggest you take a listen to Intentional Living by John C. Maxwell. In this book, Mr. Maxwell shares his story on how he was able to live a noble and purposeful life and gives you tips and tricks so you can do the same. So please start your 30-day free trial now at www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast, all lowercase. Again, that is www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast. And if you have any more questions or concerns for the Just Keep Swimming podcast, you're always welcome to reach out to us on Facebook or at Instagram at Just Keep Swimming _podcast, or you can email us at jkspodcast702@gmail.com. And with that out the way, let's dive into it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. This is your friend, your boy, your host, Mr. Adrian Jackson, and we back at it again with another great episode for you. And you already know who I got with me. It's the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. 1-3, dropping the hot beats for the sea. Make sure to keep up with his projects. But today's, ladies and gentlemen, I have a short message for you guys that kind of... it was something that happened during this week that really made me think a lot, and I kind of just want to share it with you guys. So recently I started a new job. Congratulations to me. Hell yeah. And we had a little training class about finance. And during the class, we did a little exercise where we had to, he'll ask a random question such as, money is the root of all evil. And your job is to, if you stand on this side of the classroom, you strongly agree. If you stand on this side of the class, the other side, you strongly disagree. And then anywhere in the middle, that kind of determines neutral, whatever, right? So, after that exercise, somebody asked an amazing question. And he was like, based off the scripts you asked us, like what determines what side that we're going to stand on based off the scripts, And it was a really great question. And the way the guy responded was amazing. So his answer was, so what he did was he asked scripts. The scripts were basic. Money's the root of all evil. And then he was like, based off of just that script, your history with money is going to determine how you react to that script when it gets brought up. And I think that right there was like so amazing. So he was pretty much saying that, for example, with the script, money's the root of all evil, what you may look at is your history of money with that question being brought up, and something that may pop in your mind or resurface is the thought that your dad worked a lot, and your dad was very busy, and he always worked, and he missed your football games and all the special things that were meant a lot for you. So because he worked a lot, you believe that working a lot and having a lot of money is not good. So now that plays out in your current life right now to maybe you'll hold back on getting promotions, or sabotage yourself by not working as hard as you possibly can while you're at work, or just doing the bare minimums to get by, maybe not pursuing that job that you truly want because of what it can possibly bring, whatever the case may be. Some people may think that money's the root of all evil and never put in a lottery ticket because they feel that they get too much money, they're evil, and I, based off that example, it really made me think about how, our past really gives us scripts to how we live right now, besides money. It could be based off of how you feel toward charity, how you feel toward others, how you look at relationships, like, for example, you could have the mindset that, something I hear women say all the time, all men cheat. Everybody cheats, but it's just the way you look at it. And, it's kind of like, what made that script come to your head and make you believe that script? And it could be the history that, your parents weren't faithful with each other and you always saw it. So you finally came to the solution that this is what a relationship or marriage is. It's just, we're together, but at the same time we do what we do. And then now that thought is what makes you go out into the world and treat your partners the way you do and act the way you do in your relationships, because of the way you were raised, and the way you were raised started that script that now got you playing out the play in this way, if that makes sense. So, for this week, I kind of want to challenge everybody to, go back and look at the things that you believe and try to understand why you believe that. I think a lot of times we believe stuff, but we don't understand why we believe it. We just assume that that's the way it is, or that's how it is, or that's what it's supposed to be. But it's like, no, something happened in your history to make you believe this thing, and that's what got you playing out life the way it is right now. So let's go back and look at our history to understand what is causing that. Like prime example. So this right here is something that's popped in my head. So let's say you played football your whole life, but you were never a starter. You was always a second best, maybe third best. You already got playing time, but you were there for the team. So you always did your best, but you just weren't good enough. So that may make you think that no matter how hard I try, the favored people are always going to get picked over me, even though I'm working hard. So now that may make you going through life to say that, I'm not going to try as hard. I'm going to try to be more popular, because I know if I'm popular, I can get what I want compared to my work ethic or my fashion, or, not my fashion, but, my work ethic or my mindset or my skills that really apply. And that right there could be something that's hindering you. Another example could be, how females be, they have to always dress up to look good out the house and whoopty because something happened when they were younger to where they always had to keep up with their appearance. Maybe they have family members who always talked about their hair or their outfit or whatever the case may be. So now they have this script in their mind that every time I leave the house, I have to dress to impress no matter what. Makeup, heels, nails have to look good, A, B, C. Because if not, people are going to make fun of me because I don't look the best. So now you are out here living this life where you always have to feel upkept and always have to feel well groomed no matter what you do in any stage of your life. Even if you're not doing nothing throughout the day, you go get fully dressed and makeup and all that stuff just to sit in the house because you feel like this is what I have to do, So I know that's probably a little rocky descriptions, but I guess the main thing I'm trying to get across is we need to sometimes take a step back and ask ourselves, why am I thinking this way? Why am I thinking this? What makes me believe that this is what it's supposed to be? And because of that, this is why I'm acting this way. And is this correct? Go back and look at your history and see if this is correct. And then see if what I'm thinking is correct. Yes, it may work for me right now, but is this actually good for me? Because it could be hindering me in a long way because I never truly learned to let it go, or never truly learned that what I was taught was incorrect. And I think that's something amazing that a lot of us have to stop and think about. Is what I was taught correct? It could be incorrect. It could have been, I was taught something incorrectly or never got the true concept of something I was taught, and I always understood it this way when it was actually that way, and then understand that script is something that we have to just look at and be like, is this true? Where's this script coming from? What is causing me to think this script right here? What is causing me to think these thoughts? What is causing me to have these, laws in life that I follow based off of A, B, and C, So prime example for me, based off of, everything we talked about just now, I have a hard time saying no. I personally feel that when I say no, I hurt people's feelings. I'm disadvantaging people, and people ask me because they really need it, because people don't just reach out and ask for stuff randomly. And I always ask myself, why is it so hard for me to say no? Well, I started to think back, and when I was younger, when I used to say no to things that I didn't want to do, I used to get in trouble because, they were like, me saying no makes me a bad brother, a bad human, a bad son, whatever the case may be. And that guilt trip is what makes me have the struggle to say no. So now it's playing out in my life where it's hard for me to say no. And I have to go back and actually look at that script of, why am I struggling to say no? Is my no actually that harming or damaging, or is it me thinking that it's harming and damaging? And if I would just use it more, I might become more comfortable with it. And over the last years or so, I have been practicing, and I have been noticing that when I say no, it doesn't hurt as much anymore, because I start to realize that that script that I have was not a correct script. Whatever thoughts I were thinking were not correct, because that was just a way I was raised, but that doesn't mean it still applies to this day. So I pray that all makes sense. A little story I want to share with you guys, which popped in my mind as I was talking about this. It's about a former president's wife. I can't give you her exact name, so I'm not going to misquote it. But pretty much the story is she had a friend coming over. So, she put out some flowers and some roses, make the house look all night, get ready for their little tea party, what they're about to do. And when the friend comes over, the friend sees that she has roses out. And she's like, roses? Oh my God, I'm allergic to roses. And then, the president's wife was like, oh, wow, when did this happen? And she, removed the roses, and her friend was like, well, it always happens. Every time I see roses, I start sneezing and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, my thought is, the friend, when she see roses, is because it's spring and the flowers are starting to bloom, so her allergies are kicking in. But she's applying her allergies kicking in with roses, so she believes that she's allergic to roses now. So now she goes around with life avoiding roses because she believes she's allergic to them, when the case is probably just, she gets allergies when it's springtime, when the roses and all the flowers are blooming, but she probably doesn't have other flowers around her. She probably has mostly roses, so now she try to avoid them. It could be many things, like who knows how the puzzles in our minds work. That's something that really still, I'm still wondering today how everybody's mind is different. It's really mind-blowing, but at the same time, it's so beautiful to know that we're all so unique in so many different ways. But, so that's my message for us today. Let's try to go back and look at the past, or let's look at our thoughts and be like, why am I thinking this thought? Why do I live with this principle in life? Because something with this principle could be wrong and harming me. Something with this principle could be holding me back. Or at the same time, the principles could be moving you forward. I have this principle of treating everybody with respect, because you have no idea who anybody is. And, I have plenty of times in life where I'm so glad I did treat that person with respect, because that got me free stuff, that got me promotions, that got me, just good look and positive attitudes and positive love, positive energy coming my way. And it's like, I'm glad I do have this principle to treat everybody with respect. All my new bosses, they'll tell me, oh, stop calling me miss, call me this, call me that. And it's like, okay, I'll start to call you that, but that's only because you told me. But if that wasn't the case, I'm gonna still call you miss, mister, because at the end of the day, that's a respectful factor. And I have this script in my mind that everybody deserves respect, because you never know. You know what I'm saying? You want to treat the janitor the same way you treat the CEO, with respect, with love, with kindness, and just show them that I see that you're a human too, just like I am. So that's the script that I have in my mind that I run with. So what scripts are you running with? Are they correct for you? Are they positive scripts? Are there scripts that are negative that are possibly holding you down? Take that time now to truly think about it, figure it out, marinate on the thought, and let's try to start challenging our teachings. We were taught so much when we were younger, but that doesn't mean it applies today. Prime example, back in the day, everybody didn't need a cell phone. Now, cell phones are required. So it's kind of like, things that applied back in the day don't apply no more. So let's see if what you're thinking, does it still apply? Does it still work for you? Is it still beneficial for you? Because possibly it's not, and maybe we have to change it and grow from there. And that's a part of the growth process, ladies and gentlemen. But with all that being said, I hope you guys learned something today. I hope this helped you guys out in some way, shape, or form. It helped me out for sure. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you already know, hit me up on the email, Facebook, IG. We now have the TikTok, JKS Podcast at TikTok. So check that out as well. And yes, with that being said, had a wonderful afternoon, a splendid evening, a great day. And remember to just keep swimming.